But welcome everyone. And I think with the fires, Maggie and I were just talking about the way everyone has been having some challenges breathing, and then is it COVID? Is it not COVID? And all this stuff. And besides the challenge of breathing from the fires, I think there's just a challenge of breathing in general, in the sense of the way that our world is. I know that I'm not the only one who feels a lot of heaviness around all the things that are happening on the globe. Um, and it can really impact the way we breathe. And then the breathing is the way we can impact how we feel. So it's kind of like a spiral in on itself, that when we start breathing poorly, we start to feel worse, and we start breathing poorly because of stress. And then the best thing we can do for our stress is to breathe well. So if you find yourself kind of in that downward spiral of either A, not paying attention to your breath ever, or B, feeling like your breath is shallow and a little restricted, or just not as enhancing of your vitality as it could be, it's an easy tool to access at any time, for us to just have some skill to build ourselves up, to increase our vitality, our resilience. I know I've talked about this before, but when we breathe through the nose, don't worry about the exhale, but inhaling through the nose has a lot of positive impacts in your body. There's a very fine-tuned balance between oxygen and carbon dioxide. And there's so many fine-tuned balances in the body with electrolytes and so much. It's just kind of amazing how sensitive we are, and how fine-tuned we are, and how adaptable we are being so fine-tuned. It never ceases to amaze me. So with the breathing, this nice balance that we need between oxygen and carbon dioxide, we can help ourselves by breathing through our nose. When our carbon dioxide levels are appropriate in our blood, we have more capacity to bring oxygen to our cells. When our carbon dioxide levels are off, our red blood cells that carry oxygen around to our tissues get very stingy. They're like little hoarders, and they do not want to let go of their oxygen. They're like, mine, I am not letting go. And when we have appropriate balances of oxygen and carbon dioxide, the red blood cells do not feel like they have to hoard, and they don't feel stingy, and they will easily release the oxygen that they're carrying from our breath into our cells. And this is important for our sense of vitality. So if you're having challenges in your health in any way, whether it's a little bit of heaviness in your lungs from all the fires, or fatigue from all the stress that we've been under, or any other thing that's going on with you, breathing well can help. So we're going to do a couple of different breathing techniques today, but one of the best things you can do is not fancy pranayama techniques. Pranayama just means the harnessing of prana, or the life force that is found primarily through our breath, but we also receive it through food, through water, through sunlight, through love and affection. But our primary source is through our breath. And so the harnessing of this through pranayama techniques, changing your breath, all sorts of ways you can manipulate your breath. If you do those techniques, but you haven't established a strong foundation of healthy breathing, you're just kind of toppling, it's like having a foundation of a building that's not quite right. So we need to more importantly focus on just healthy breathing, more than I'm going to control my breath in this specific way. And there's a few things that impact that. The first and foremost is the way we move our diaphragm. So if you tend to have your diaphragm get stuck according to stress, which is so common, that we grip our diaphragm subconsciously, unconsciously, when we are under duress of any kind, this can be something that we can work with in our practice, is to unwind the tension around our diaphragm, let the belly receive, so that we can breathe fully and deeply. And this is, I think, one of the cruxes that we all kind of need to work on. It's a common problem that we don't use our diaphragm effectively. So in our practice today, we're going to try to really do some work to get to know the diaphragm and strengthen the diaphragm. So when we breathe real shallow up top in our upper chest, our diaphragm gets very lazy. It's kind of like how, when you sit slumped over, your glutes get really lazy, and then, you wonder why you can't stand up straight when you're standing. So We want our diaphragm to be strong and healthy and pliable. And then the next thing that often happens besides the diaphragm getting weak and lazy is the accessory muscles up in our neck and shoulders tend to take over a lot of the breathing patterns instead of working from the powerhouse of our strong diaphragm. So learning how to relax your traps, learning how to relax all the muscles in your neck, so that they are not your primary movers. They can be assisting you when you are breathing fast, like when you're running or when you're working hard. So even in your asana practice, when you're working hard, those muscles may take some of the weight of your breath, but you don't want them to be your primary movers. And then the last thing that I just want to mention, and I've mentioned this before, is screen apnea, which is this new phenomenon. It's kind of like sleep apnea, but when we are on screens for long periods of time, which we all are on screens for long periods of time, we have a suspension of our breath at times where we hold our breath without knowing it. And it has to do with the neurology of your eyes. In some ways, there's a lot to it, but when we are on a screen, that's an even more important time where we want to have like a little back burner telling us to breathe regularly. So, you know, a little sticky note on your computer, a timer that can go off every 20 minutes or something to help you remember to take a few deep breaths can be very helpful. We need reminding. It's silly that something as primal as breathing we need to learn how to do again, but we really do. So on that note, let's start to breathe. Okay. So the exhales can come out through mouth or nose. What feels good in any moment, let it happen. Sometimes breathing out through the mouth, slow and steady sigh can really reset the nervous system, kind of stimulate that relaxation effect. So it's okay to breathe out through your mouth. You don't always have to be doing everything through your nose, but the inhale as much as you can moving through the nose is super helpful to keep these carbon dioxide levels steady in your body. And there's a whole lot else that happens too, but for now, just know that breathing through your nose is important. So let's go ahead and come to a comfortable seat. And first, just let your body settle. How do you feel today? And when you close your eyes and go in, what's the first thing you notice? Are you tired? Are you in pain somewhere? Do you feel good? What part of your body speaks to you right away? So pay attention to the first in line, whatever's the squeaky wheel. Let's go ahead and bring some love and affection to the squeaky wheel in your body. Let's do this by breathing well. So feel your diaphragm. Do everything in your power to melt. Let your belly fully relax. So let go of the habituated pattern of pulling your belly in. Notice the breath. Notice where you tend to go. Are you a high top breather? Are you a front breather? Are you a nose breather, a mouth breather? Where's your tendency? And see what you can do to feel the buoyancy of your spine. Align. So shoulders over pelvis, head over, ears over shoulders. Have your curves. Have your chest open, your collarbones broad without pinching the back of your body. And see what you can do to let the siren place in your body, whatever's calling to you, melt. Bring the breath. Bring the exhales there and see what part of you can surrender just a bit. And come back to the muscles of respiration and see what you can do to soften through the base of your skull. Do you hold tension in the breath right in through the base of the skull and permeate there? Travel around inside your ears, around to your jaw. Go back to the back and travel down the back of your neck. See if you can let your head just have a slight bobble where you can just feel like, how am I holding my head up? Can you allow the alignment to support you? Can you rest your head on the pillow of your vertebrae? Try to release some of those tension patterns around your neck. As your shoulders soften on your exhales, let them drop down. When you breathe in, feel the lungs do some work. So allow the bottom ribs to open, the sides, the back. Of course, your shoulder blades and your collarbones will move, but try not to yank your shoulders up and use those neck muscles to open the lungs. Feel the movers of the muscles in between your ribs help out. The muscles in your back help out. The muscles in your belly help out. So drop lower in your body to feel the powerhouses of breath. When you start to sense into your diaphragm, and we're going to do this lying down, which is easier for many people, but sitting here, when you breathe in, can you relax your belly? Don't feel like you have to push your diaphragm down or broad. It doesn't have to be a big movement. It has to be a free movement. So untether any binds and just unleash the diaphragm. It's like taking your dog off the leash. They don't necessarily run far away. Maybe they do, but perhaps they're just happy to just be free. And on the exhale, can you feel the recoil? Which feels like work to you, the inhale or the exhale? And there's no right answer to that question. Just notice what your breathing feels like through your nose if you can. Relax your eyes, relax your jaw, your cheeks, your tongue. Can you feel that the steady inhale and the steady exhale is bringing you prana, feeding you energy, vitality? Remember breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth or nose. Toward the end of our practice, we will manipulate the breath right now. But in this beginning, let's just try to find our good breathing patterns. Go ahead and come out of your seated posture. And let's go ahead and come onto your back. All right, so lie down. Take a moment to stretch. Okay, so maybe stretch the right side, left side. Maybe your breath wants to squeeze or yawn or hold. Just follow the pattern that feels good to you. Deep breath in, deep breath out. And then relax your arms down at your sides for just a moment. Find your breath. We're going to just do our little bit of warm-ups here before we focus on the breath again, just so our body's alive. So take a deep breath, starfish, open your limbs. And as you exhale, knees into your chest, chin up. Put your head back down. Keep your knees in. Let's circle the knees a few times. Let's go one direction. And we almost always do this when we warm up in my class. So sometimes try to remember to circle the other way first. Sometimes taking the road less traveled in your body is a great way to wake up the nervous system. So make sure you're going both directions if you haven't already switched. All right, and then right knee into the chest, left leg long on the floor. Roll around your ankles. Wiggle through your toes. Get into the space in your feet. Open things up. Notice how good it feels just to wake up your limbs a little bit. Feel the compression in your knee, in your hip. Then change sides. Left knee into the chest, right leg comes along on the floor, and find some wiggles and sways through your feet again. See if you can get into some little nook in your calf or shin or side of your leg that you haven't found yet. Stay in the breath. Bring your right knee back in. Open up your legs out and bring them back in. Just feeling some warming in the hip joints. Deep breaths here. Both inhale and exhale. All right, and then let's go ahead and stretch open to a starfish one more time. Deep breath in, feel your rib cage. Exhale, knees into your chest, round the spine. One more time. Open your body out. Exhale, close your body up. Go ahead and put your feet on the ground and just come to a wide-legged stance just a little bit. So feet a little wider than your hips. And let's begin to windshield wiper our knees. So there's some muscles in your, all of you is interrelated to all of you, right? So you can't really say this is connected to this and nothing else. We're fully connected everywhere. However, the diaphragm has some friends, and maybe some frenemies in the body. So the first of them is the psoas muscle. So this deep hip flexor in our body that we often open up in yoga is very important for staying supple. The cueing, when the diaphragm tightens, the psoas gets that message and wants to join in. They're good friends, right? They want to help each other, defend each other. When the psoas gets tight, then the diaphragm gets that cue and says, oh, let me tense up too. So keeping a sense of suppleness, subtle suppleness in your psoas muscle can help you unwind tension in the diaphragm. So have your feet on the ground, your knees bent. Imagine two hands on your knees pressing some weight into the pelvis so that your femur bones are dropping into the hips just a little bit. And let's just place our hands on our belly. Befriend your soft places. So, if you have a not such friendly relationship with your belly, this can impact your breathing too. Absolutely. If you're always gripping and tensing your belly, you're going to have trouble moving your diaphragm well. So with your hands there now, let's just make friends. Breathe in, give some love to your belly. And this is where your psoas muscles live. They attach onto the anterior, to the body of the vertebrae, the discs themselves, and travel down to your femur bones. They're our deepest hip flexors. So let's just send some love way down into our psoas muscles. Let's see what you can do to allow, let's knock our knees together. Take your feet a little wider, knock your knees, and just see what you can do to allow some rest into these areas. Can you allow the muscle to be soft? A lot of times when we grip to curl in, this is a tension pattern in this muscle. It's very protective for the body. It's an emotional muscle. It definitely responds to our psyche of needing protection. So just give some cueing with your hands that all is well. Send some love and warmth through your hands down all the way into your psoas. And if you think it's ridiculous, do it anyway. It can't hurt, right? Now move your hands up to the base of your ribs, the base of your sternum where your diaphragm lives. And let's do the same. Give the warmth of your hands. Feel your body move with your breath. Softness. What can you melt? Can you give some love and affection to your diaphragm? How often do you pay attention to keeping your soft belly soft? And then unwind the arms, bring them out so that you have a little room. Feel free to do something different with your legs if you want to. And we're just going to have some breathing here. So that starfish feeling of radiating from your center outward, perhaps you want to get that feeling that we're breathing through the deep center of the body, expanding out to our limbs. And coming back in toward the deep center on the exhales. And your deep center can be anywhere that you feel it to be. Can you relax your neck? Can you relax your shoulders? Can you let your head rest on the floor? Let gravity open up your rib cage. Let gravity open up your spine. As you breathe in through the nose, can you feel the diaphragm unwind? Once again, you do not need to push your belly out. Just make way. Just be soft and receive. Let the bottom ribs flare. And as you exhale, let them drop back in. Slow down the breath. Ujjayi breath. So we're slowing it down. Kind of bank the rivers of your throat just a little bit so there's a narrow passageway. Feel the slowness like pouring water in a pitcher, a slow, steady stream. Inhaling through your nose, exhaling how you want. Receive the breath with the diaphragm. Receive the breath with the soft belly. On your exhales, make sure your neck and shoulders are not tense. What can you do with all this prana? So we didn't set an intention in the beginning. Let's set it now. With all this prana that's coming into you, what are you going to use it for? What do you need today? Do you need, some mind power? Do you need some emotional shoring up? Does your spirit need lighting? Is your body healing in some way? All right, let's start to move. Stretch and lift it. Exhale, knees into the chest. One more time. Starfish out, big breath. Exhale, knees into the chest. Okay, let's go ahead and roll over onto your side and come up onto your hands and your knees. And let's start moving. So I know we've taken it slow. So if you're itching to move, now you get to move. All right, so go ahead and find some movement. Let the spine open, the back body opens, the front body opens. Notice that your breath can go touching the back of the rib cage just as much as the front. Where do you want to inhale? Where do you want to exhale? Do you want to hang out in any one particular spot? And then feel free to move around. So free some things up. What's tight? Do you need to move around in your pelvis? Do you need to free up your low back? Are your side bodies tense? Your shoulder blades gluey on your ribs? Is your neck tense? All right, and then go ahead and stretch back towards child's pose. Take your arms where it is comfortable, so that could be up, out, or side down, and find your breath touching into the back rib cage. See if you can start to feel the attachments of your diaphragm in the back of your body. So your diaphragm attaches all on the inner rim of your rib cage, and then it also attaches onto your lumbar spine. So see what it feels like as you breathe. Can you feel your spine move? All right, let's walk our hands over to the left, opening up the ribs on the right, feeling all that space. Big open windows between your rib cage. You have lots of little muscles in between your ribs that help you with breathing. Give them a good stretch.
See if you can let the lungs reach into the rib cage. What does it feel like? Can you sense your lungs themselves? And then walk your hands over to the other side. Especially if you've been having some heaviness in your chest from all the fires. It's been like 2 months now almost of fires, right? 6 weeks, I don't know how long. It's been a while. I mean, since beginning of September, I think. So let's go ahead and enjoy all this room. All right, come back to center. Come up onto all fours. Lift the right arm. Exhale and slide that shoulder down. Another great thing, we worked on this yesterday in class, about how twisting and using the obliques has a resistance against the diaphragm and how good that compression on the diaphragm can be. So let's enjoy that here. Find the fullness of your breath. Open up the space between your shoulder blades, all those muscles in the back of your body that help you breathe. Okay, inhale. Reach your arm up to the sky. Place the hand down onto the ground and change sides. Lifting the left arm, sliding that shoulder down. Find the full breath. Breathing in through your nose, out however you want to breathe. Try to stay with the inhales through the nose as much as you can through your practice. Stay in the depth of breath. So long inhales, long exhales, as much as you're able to do. We're not working very hard yet, so just see how you can train the breath when you're gentle, so that when you get to be moving, it's a little bit easier. Come on up and out of that. Let's go ahead and find dog pose. Let's spread out the hands, curl the toes under, and now let's feel a full body pose. So move into your feet, feel the hamstrings, the calves, feel the whole length of your spine, invigorate, feel the yielding, move into the earth and rebound out of the earth. How is your neck? Do you tend to lift your head in dog pose? Do you tend to lift your chin up a little bit? Can you melt? Find the soft place for the muscles of your neck and shoulders. Have your traps recede away from the ears just a little bit. Try to invigorate bigger muscles. So hug your hands toward each other on the floor to feel your lats and your serratus do some of the work instead of your traps having to hold you up. Let the neck relax. How is your breath here? Can you feel the expansion of your diaphragm, those bottom rib cage that we were holding and loving before? Bring them into some open space. And then exhale and release and walk your feet forward. Come into Uttanasana. Fold, wag your tail around, wag your head around, do any movement pattern that's necessary and good for your body to open. Inhale for a halfway lift, opening up the feet, the legs. Exhale and melt back down. Rise up, pushing off your feet. Lift open to the sky. Reach back, open your chest, cactus, open the arms, let the pecs open. Okay, and then relax and forward or bring your forearms forward. Open up the back. Okay, from here, we're going to find some cactus, and we're going to imagine pulling on a pull-apart. So I think of that V from the bottom tips of your shoulder blades, a V down to your spine, okay? And see if you can hug that V tight as you bring your elbows down. Inhale and reach your arms back up. Exhale, bring the elbows down, shoulder blades toward the spine. One more time. All right, and then reach the arms up, exhale, and fold forward. Inhale for a halfway lift. Sit bones are lengthening. Exhale and melt back down. Step your left foot forward or backward. Right foot stays forward. Come into a lunge on this side. Feel your body. Feel that psoas on the back leg. So that hip flexor in your back leg, let's open that up. So extend through the spine. Let's go ahead and put our knee down onto the ground. Other hand on your knee. Right hand on your knee, reach up, open up into the belly, into the front of that psoas muscle. Find your breath, and then let's reach the other arm with, grab onto your wrist, and just a little bit of an opening to the side as well. Hug into the midline with your legs. Find your stability, heel and knee finding each other. Open up. Now how's your breath? Can you still be breathing through your nose as we're moving now? Are your neck and shoulders relaxed? Can you soften the base of your skull? Let your skull rest on the pillow of your spine. And then open your chest. Lean back. Feel that V in the back of the body again. And then exhale and release your hands. Curl your back toe under and lift that knee off the floor. And let's start moving. Square hips, straighten legs, tuck your chin toward your chest. Let the muscles along your spine open. Find movement. So coming forward into a lunge, coming back into a straight leg, like kind of like Parsvottanasana legs, but a little bit longer. How is your breath? Can you stay breathing through your nose, inhaling through your nose? How do your exhales want to come? When you start to try to reach for breath, are you reaching into those upper muscles? See if you can reach into the base of the ribs. Broaden your rib cage as much as you can for your breath. Let's go ahead and walk the back foot forward. Fold again. Inhale for a halfway lift. Everything through your nose if you can. All those inhales through your nose. Exhale and melt back down. Let's go ahead and step your right foot back. Come into a lunge on this side. Enjoy the openness in that back leg. So stretch the leg, lift the femur bone, open the chest forward. Feel the roots of your feet. Let's go ahead. When you're ready, put your knee down onto the ground. Take your left hand on your left knee. Reach the right arm up in the air. Feel the stretch through the front of your thigh into your belly. Stay stable. So front heel and back knee moving toward each other. Inner thighs moving toward midline. Stay breathing through your nose. Relax the traps. When you're ready, reach up and grab that wrist and a little bit over to the side. So don't compress down. Just try to open up through the ribs, through the side waist a little bit more. Come back to center, open your chest up, find that V if you want, and then release your hands down to the ground. Curl the back toe under, the knee is off the floor. Start to square the hips and bend and straighten that front knee. As it comes toward a straight leg, tuck your chin. As it comes toward a bent knee, lift your heart. So just back and forth, opening up through the body, relax the skull. Let the brain rest inside the skull. How is your breathing? Can you feel the bottom rib cage expand as you inhale? When you're ready, walk your back foot forward. Uttanasana one more time. Halfway lift. Exhale and melt back down. Push off your feet, rise up, reaching the arms to the sky. One more time, cactus open, squeeze that V if you want, and then exhale and round in. Okay, let's just open up. We're gonna do some stretches for our shoulders, but we're also going to do some pounding. So you guys have done this with me before. You can take your fists and pound, or you can take hands. Okay, so you decide whether you want like scoops with your hands open, or whether you want using the thumb at the side of your fist. Okay, so whatever you're going to do, let's try to give ourselves some love. Breathe while you're doing this. I recommend doing this every single day. And if you have a partner or a child or a friend who can do the back of you, even better. Share, do it for them. Come down into the bottom of your ribs. Breathe while you're doing this. See if you can get into the back of your body a little bit. Your sides, you can use one hand. If we were together, I would have you pounding on each other's backs. So just go into all the places you can reach with your hands that are part of your lungs. The tops of your lungs peek out up over your collarbones when you inhale. They go all the way to the top. So just find all your places. If
if you find yourself having some screen apnea, that's an awesome thing to do. Stand up, jump around a little bit, take some deep breaths, and then pound on your chest. Okay, so just notice your breath. Did your lungs just get woken up a little bit? Does it feel good? Vibrating of any kind can really help your lungs. Now we're going to do some body vibrating. So bounce. You can jump if you want. You don't have to jump. And shake out your hands. Okay. So, and if you want to jump, that's great too. Okay, so just find what you're finding. Keep shaking out your hands. Okay, then let that go. And just feel prana running through your body, through your lungs, through your limbs. Deep breaths here. All right. So hold on to your right wrist behind you. Open up your chest, and we're going to stretch our left ear over toward our left shoulder as we lift the right ear up. Okay, open up the side of your neck. Find your breath. And feel free to move things around. These are your scalene muscles and your traps. Very important for your accessory muscles of breathing that tend to take over. So feel free to lift your chin and drop your chin. Little bits of movements. Just find where you want to be. A gentle tug on the wrist, not a real tight tug. Breathe into your neck. See if you can touch your breath to these muscles. Okay, and then come back to neutral. Before we do the second side, tuck your chin toward your chest. Lift your chin. Imagine you have a roll towel behind your neck. Lift your chin up, touch your teeth. Stretch open the muscles in the front of your neck. Look a little bit over to the left. Look a little bit over to your right. Remember the roll towel. Touch your teeth. And then come back to center. And let's do the other side. Grab onto the wrist. Lift that left ear. Drop the right. Think more about lifting than dropping. Have a little tug on the wrist, just enough. Bring the breath into the neck. Bring the breath into the neck. All right, and then relax. Shrug your shoulders a few times. Up toward the ears, squeeze everything. Let it go. Okay. Deep breath in. Big open circle. Swan dive forward.
Relax your head. Put the hands at the base of the skull and just slightly tug your chin toward your chest. Let all the muscles in the back side of the body open. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale and melt back down. Rise up.
Lifting your arms to the sky. Deep breath, open the diaphragm. Exhale and fold one more time.
Let's step back to a plank. So one of the other muscles that is very friendly with the diaphragm is your transverse abdominis. So let's find that deep core support, that girdle around our torso on our exhales. Inhales, let it go a little bit. This is one of our muscles that really helps us breathe out. Put your knees on the floor and go ahead and lower yourself down to the ground. Move the shoulders away from the ears. Roll your forehead left and right on the floor. Relax your neck. Take a deep breath. Find that V. Open your chest. Exhale and melt back down. Let's try not to hold the top of the breath here. One more time. Inhaling up. The minute you start to exhale, come back down. Finding the breath. Let's do that once more. Open yourself up and then exhale and relax. Find your breath. Pick up your feet, windshield wiper your knees left and right. Put your arms wherever you want them. They can be down, out, under your head, wherever you want. And for a moment, let's just notice how the spine bobbles on the breath. Notice, when we breathe into the floor, we can feel the diaphragm very well sometimes. Notice the diaphragm moving into the floor and away from the floor. Turn your head the other way, if your head is turned. Feel the work of all the muscles in your bottom rib cage, your diaphragm. All right, let's go ahead and come up onto all fours. We were on our belly a lot, which often can be irritating to people's backs, so swirl things around, any kind of movement your body needs. And then let's find our way to dog pose. Stretch out through your spine. Deepen your breath here. Deep inhale, deep exhale. Let's lift the right leg up in the air and stack the right hip over the left. Open that side waist again. Feel the psoas. Take a deep breath. And then square the hips. Take a deep breath in again. Stretch that foot. Exhale, knee to nose. Push all your breath out. Inhale, bring it back. Exhale, let's bring our foot forward. Come to a lunge. Rise up, full crescent lunge now. Arms go anywhere you want them to be. Find what's going to give you best breath here. How are your exhales? How are your inhales? All right, same thing we did before with our knee on the ground. Open the side body up. Try not to turn, so we're not twisting. We're opening through the side. And then release to come out of that and turn and open up to Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. All right, so put your arms anywhere you want them to be. Feel your stable legs. So remember, your stance can come much higher. If your body can't breathe well, don't go so deep. Stay where your breath is even, where you can stay breathing through the nose, that you can commit to breathing through the nose. Try not to let the upper muscles in your neck and shoulders do the work. Slide everything down. And if you have trouble with that with your arms out, take your elbows down and turn your palms up and spin your hands back toward the wall behind you. They won't go very far, but moving in that direction. Open across your chest. Finding the breath. Let's slide the arm down. Once again, the side body stretch. Open the ribs. Feel all the space for breathing. Straighten your leg just for a moment. Bring it back in. Parsvottanasana. Now we get to open up the other side for breathing. See if you can feel the space between the ribs and the pelvis. Breathe. Let your transverse abdominis have space. Let your diaphragm have space. Everything is moving. Feel those bottom ribs. Relax the shoulders. Slide the shoulder blades down the back a little bit. Move around the neck to make sure you're not guarding the traps. You can always have your arm somewhere else if your traps can't relax. Okay, let's come on up. Turn back to the front of your mat. Come back to dog pose. Notice the difference between your two sides. Deep breath in. All your air out. Do you want to breathe out through your nose? Do you want to breathe out through your mouth? How are your inhales doing through your nose? Can you feel the banks of the river snug up so that the breath takes its time? Is your diaphragm able to move? Feel how the inversion here helps your diaphragm recoil back toward your ribs on your exhales. Inhale, come forward into a plank. Stabilize. Finding your breath. And let's put our knees down. Protect yourself. Come to the floor. So unlike when we were just lying on the floor before, feeling our diaphragm. Now we're going to do some diaphragmatic push-ups. So bring your arms back. You can even interlace them if you want. So locust pose arms or just arms at your side. You decide. Take a deep breath. First, just lift up your chest. Find your diaphragm. Feel it push into the floor on your inhale. Feel it recoil on your exhale. Feel your V, shoulder blades to spine. Stabilize with your transverse abdominis. Make sure your glutes are engaged, your legs are engaged. Find those diaphragm push-ups. And then relax. Turn your head one side, pick up your feet, and windshield wiper your knees. The next time we pass through this, we'll do the same, but we'll lift up our legs too, which will increase the diaphragmatic push-up even more. Come up onto all fours, free up your spine. You can come back to child's pose, you can do some sways here, whatever's going to help your back feel good after a back bend, eventually finding your way to dog pose. Hug your hands toward the midline. Use the bigger muscles. So instead of using your upper traps and feeling like your shoulders are collapsing toward your neck, hug into the torso. When you do this, when you hug your hands into each other to engage your lats, try not to let this guard your rib cage so much that you can't expand and release with the breath. Still, so there's always this balance between stability and spaciousness. So find that with your breath. Let's lift the left leg up in the air. Stack your hip over the other hip. Try not to sink and collapse through the right side of your body. A little loft under your armpit. Stretch your foot. You can have your knee bent if you prefer. And then when you're ready, square the hips. How's your breath? Deep inhale through your nose. Exhale all your air out. Push the extra little bit of air out. Push, push, push. Knee into the chest. Inhale, bring it back. Exhale, let's swing your foot forward. Remember, there's always other ways to get to where you're going. So if you're not a swinger, that's fine. You can always put your knee down and then plant your foot forward. Come on up. Find your stable place. You can bring your foot out to the side if you need to. Reach the arms wherever is comfortable for your body. You can always have your back knee on the ground. The arms can be anywhere you want. What's giving you the capacity to stay present with the breathing through the nose, to open up the diaphragm and the bottom ribs, to let this part of your body be your primary moving. Enjoy your breath. Let's reach onto that wrist if your arms are in the air. You can always skip this if you can't, if your shoulders don't do well with arms overhead. Okay, let's come back and turn and open up to the side for Virabhadrasana 2 on this side. Remember, your pose can be very high. You can bend your knee like this much. It doesn't have to be a big thing. What's giving you the capacity to be stable and upright, to feel that your breath is coming from your diaphragm, your neck and shoulders are soft. So try, if you didn't try it before, try this position where your elbows are down close to your sides, not hugged in, just down at your sides, and palms are up, and turn the palms out. Try to bring them backwards a little bit toward the wall behind you, holding 2 platters. Drop the shoulders, open across your collarbones. Let the action be in the backside of the shoulder blades instead of pinching the center of your thoracic spine forward to open your chest. Let the shoulder blades do some of that help to open the collarbones. See if you can relax the back ribs enough to breathe in there. So feel the breath travel into the back of your diaphragm, the back ribs. Okay, let's lift. Reach that arm, open into a side stretch. We're not twisting, just opening the side of your body. Be in the lunge, however your body says is the right place. Okay, and then straighten just for a moment. Give your thigh a moment to rest, and then come down. Place your elbow on your knee. You can have a platter in your hand here. You can have your arm down. You can have your hand halfway up. You can have your hand all the way up. Okay? Slide the shoulders down the back. Shoulder blades. The space between your shoulder blades is like a water slide. Go down the water slide. Feel the base of your ribs expand. Let your belly move. Soft places are soft for a reason. There's a reason why our rib cage does not go all the way to our pelvis. We are not in a cage. We need these soft places for expansion. All right, go ahead and come on up. Swing back to the front of your mat. Come back to dog pose one more time. Last pass through a vinyasa. So as we come into a plank, let's hold steady here. Feel that transverse abdominis on the exhales. The diaphragm likes the squeeze as much as it likes the space. Put your knees down. Let's go ahead and come to the floor. This time, full locust pose if your body's ready for it. Interlace your hands. You can always just have your arms down at your sides, palms facing down. Lift your legs this time too. Legs can be close or far. Back of the neck stays long. Shoulder blades stay down on the back. So feel your V. Feel your diaphragm. Engage your glutes and your legs. Stabilize with your transverse abdominis. Have enough room in your soft body to feel your diaphragm move. Push-ups. Diaphragm push-ups. Neck stays soft. Breathe through your nose. Exhale how you like. And then let's go ahead and rest. Turn your head one side or the other. Windshield wiper your knees. And put your feet down. Have a moment. Turn your head the other way. Feel the back body breathe. Let's come up onto all fours. Find some swivels and sways. Any kind of movement that's going to free up your body. All right, now on all fours. This is so hard for a lot of people. If you're a habitual belly holder, let's just work with that transverse abdominis a bit here. So take an inhale, drop your belly. You don't have to push your belly, just drop your belly. Let it go, like you're dropping something onto the floor. And as you exhale, lift your belly. And if you can, feel that your belly isn't just your belly button, dropping down and in. But really you're moving 360. You're expanding, you're resting into your expansion. You're condensing into your contraction. So try to let both be, there's muscular activity for both your inhale and your exhale. Which do you have trouble with? You know, which are you guarded for? Which muscle groups are weaker for you? So on the inhale, the belly goes, side ribs puff, back body puffs. Exhale, everything toward the midline. So notice, you know, we've done the standing, lying down, sitting, on our back, on our belly, and now on all fours. So just notice, where is it difficult for you to let your diaphragm be? Where is it easy? So if you have found through our practice that it's easier on your back, or easier standing up, or easier sitting down, or easier on your belly, or easier on your back, whatever you got, practice breathing in the easy places so that when you get to the harder places, you have a little bit more skill. Let's find our twist here like we always do in the beginning. Reach the arm up, exhale, slide that shoulder down. Gaze toward the floor. Make sure your neck is relaxed. It's so easy to take tension in our necks. Inhale and come back up. Reaching the arm to the sky, place the hand down onto the ground. Second side. Neck is soft. And then inhale and bring that arm back up. And then we're going to come onto our back. Okay. So lie down, knees are bent. How is your breathing now compared to when we began class? The neck and shoulders are soft. Are you more open in your rib cage? Do you have more access to the full capacity of your lungs? Is your diaphragm any more free? Do you feel it natural to expand on your inhale and condense on your exhale? Lose the urge to push your belly out and in. Just be free. Neck is soft. Shoulders don't have to do the work. If you find yourself doing the work with your neck and shoulders, just keep telling them it's okay, you don't have to. When you're ready, bring your knees to your chest, rock a little bit. Perhaps you want to take happy baby pose, perhaps something else. All right, now as we come into Shavasana, if you want to support yourself any which way you want, go ahead and do that. As you find your way into a comfortable position, whether that's limbs kind of spread out a little bit or close, supporting something with support, pillows, blankets, whatever you have or want. However you find yourself relaxing, melt. Melt the jaw and the base of the skull. Let the back of the head rest. Melt the shoulders and the neck. All those muscles that we stretched open in the neck, see if you can melt them. Allow the breath to be gentle, still breathing through the nose, at least breathing in. Have a moment of feeling that this expansive breath that you've cultivated, this awareness in your lungs that you've cultivated, can move from your center to your tips, to your edges, your hands, your feet, your crown, your tail. Let your exhale return that energy back to the source of where it came from.
Let's begin to deepen our breathing again. If it got shallow, see if you can feel that expansion from your center outward, and then returning back to your center. Allow yourself to melt fully. Enjoy your breath. And let's start to move as you're ready. Wiggling toes, rolling around, stretching, anything that feels good. And then come onto your side. And use your arms to help lift yourself upward. Find a comfortable seat. See what it feels like to take a good breath here, seated. Can you melt and relax your neck and shoulders? Receive breath in your diaphragm. What can you do with all this good breath today? And even though we didn't get around to doing any pranayama techniques, notice if you have fed yourself some good prana. Let's offer this energy outward. Share with another, someone in your heart who you are thinking of that needs care. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.